Hello again, I am Blunty and I'd like to introduce you to my new favourite Xbox One/PC game controller ever. It's PowerA's Fusion Pro Controller and it is functionally the middle ground between a good stock controller like the Xbox Ones and Microsoft's new insultingly expensive Elite model. The materials for things like the Thumbsticks are high quality plastics instead of the Elite's lovely but frankly overkill metal, nor does it have the gimmick of magnetically detachable sticks or D-pads and stuff, but it does feature the practical and actually useful high-end features like trigger locks, assignable fingertip buttons, and it has a headset port, also the lovely breakaway connector on the cable to stop horrible things happening if someone should accidentally kick, pull or otherwise give the cable a yank. It also has a couple of cosmetic concessions with two sets of individually customizable RGB LED lighting effects, with the standard sets of options to either cycle through the spectrum or be set to your personal choice of colour and brightness. It's a nice bit of visual flair for those who enjoy such things, but of course if you'd prefer to keep the sleek, stealthy lines free of chromatic festivities, you can simply turn them off of course. In either case, adjusting the lighting effects is all done on the controller itself with a couple of buttons on the back, no app, no driver or other interface required. The same is true of the programmable fingertip buttons on the back, simple to assign with a couple of button presses to whatever button you'd like. Though unlike the paddle type buttons that some other high-end controllers have begun to feature, these are nearly flush with the body. Now on the bright side, this makes them much less prone to accidental activation in times of intense gameplay when your grip sort of naturally tightens up subconsciously. On the downside, I found them a little less natural to use. The action of the buttons is a little stiff and quite shallow, but I did adapt quickly and I found them to be wonderfully useful in some games. Now, I've never given a controller with paddle-type buttons any long-term use, so I really don't know which one I'd prefer, but what I can tell you is the buttons worked fine for me. Back on the subject of drivers briefly, it of course works out of the box with the Xbox One, as you'd expect, but should you, like I, hope to get rather more use out of it on a PC, although PowerA does not provide PC drivers at all, the same trick I used with the Star Wars controllers from PowerA to force it to use the standard Microsoft Xbox One controller drivers under Windows works perfectly. The quick trigger locks work as you'd expect, significantly shortening the action distance, increasing your effective reaction times in games that use the triggers as button inputs only and ignore any analog input, like the majority of shooters for example. And it's simple enough to switch this on the fly without releasing your normal grip on the controller should you need to, for example if your shooter games has vehicle sections. The face buttons have a great feel to them too, a nice solid action without being unnecessarily loud and clicky. They are very slightly more resistive than the stock Xbox One controllers and sit slightly more proud of the surface. Both these things make the tactile experience superior in my opinion. The D-pad is significantly above average too. It has an excellent feel, very tactile, highly responsive. In fact, it is very easily one of the best D-pads on modern controllers. And again, compared to the stock Xbox One controller, it is significantly less spongy and wobbly and loose feeling. It feels much tighter and way more responsive. The clicks are slightly more audible than I'd prefer, but by no means I'd call it loud. But it's the thumbsticks that have me most enamored with this controller. They feel absolutely fantastic. Their feeling of precision is, in a word, superb. And when you combine this finely calibrated precision with the much broader than normal thumb pads, with their shallow depression and a grippy knurled ring, make these the best thumbsticks I've used. And I say that as a blanket statement. They are the best thumbsticks I've used on any controller from any era. They are smooth, precise. I feel more in control with these thumbsticks than I ever have on any controller I've ever used. They are brilliant. Now, I'm told in Australia these are exclusive to a single retailer, which honestly I'm never a huge fan of when that kind of stuff happens, but the good news is that it's JB Hi-Fi, which are just all over the damn place, so finding a store to get one, or indeed ordering online, is super easy. And better yet, the price they're launching at is just 129 Aussie dollars. Now, it's not what I'd call cheap for a gamepad, surely, but for one of this quality and this feature set, that's a friggin' bargain, I dare you to tell me otherwise. And it is hitting shelves as I speak, so by the time you see this video you should be able to just walk into a store and buy one. But I've actually had my review unit since early December, which means I've been able to sink literally hundreds of game hours into it so far, about 90 of those in Just Cause 3 alone. You guys all know how much I've been enjoying that game. And not once, not even for a second, has the PowerA Fusion Pro Controller felt anything less than awesome. I am serious when I tell you it is my favorite Xbox One / PC controller ever. I tell you without a doubt, without hesitation, it is excellent, and I honestly and earnestly highly recommend you check it out. Thanks for watching. I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time.